We've all seen it, people working so hard, long hours,
Yeah.
but they're still just struggling to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to think, why are some people stuck like this, just kind of caught in that cycle of hard work and low income?
Right.
And well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack in this deep dive.
That's right.
We're going to
So
go beyond just the paycheck,
yeah.
explore all these hidden costs of low income work,
Absolutely.
and understand why this isn't just like an individual person's struggle,
Right.
but like a societal thing.
It
Yeah.
really is a much bigger conversation than we often have. We tend to just focus on like the money part of it.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to it than that.
Okay.
So the impact it has on people, on their families, on entire communities, it's huge and it's often unseen.
So let's dive in.
Okay.
First off, like, who are we even talking about when we say low-income workers?
Right.
I think a lot of people have this picture in their mind, but is it that simple?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
The reality is much more diverse, I think, than the stereotype. We're talking about young people, working their first jobs in retail,
Mm-hmm.
parents who are juggling multiple part-time jobs
Right?
just to try to feed their families,
Yeah.
or even like whole communities, where
Right.
the main source of employment is service industry jobs. It touches so many different lives.
It's like this hidden thread through everything.
Exactly.
Like through the fabric of like our whole society.
And what's really kind of striking is the impact it has across generations.
Oh, yeah.
You think about kids
Yeah.
growing up in a home where working 2 or 3 jobs is normal.
Right.
They see their parents, stressed all the time, struggling to pay bills.
Yeah.
And they start to think that this is just how life is,
Right.
that you're always going to be struggling with money.
Yeah.
It's like they inherit this legacy of struggle.
It's kind of heartbreaking to think about those kids, like carrying that with them.
Yeah.
It's almost like the system's designed to keep them trapped in that cycle.
And that is the danger. That's why I think it's so important that we really understand this, the hidden costs of low-income work.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about individuals trying to, like, get by day to day.
Right.
It's about breaking a cycle
Right.
that continues, across generations.
Okay, so let's talk about those hidden costs then.
Okay.
We know it's more than just like a small paycheck, right?
Right.
What are some of the ways that low-income work affects people that aren't so obvious?
Well, one of the biggest ones, I think, is this feeling of financial instability.
Okay.
Just constantly being on edge.
Yeah.
Knowing that any little unexpected thing
Yeah.
could completely throw everything off.
Yeah.
It's living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Barely having enough money to cover the basics.
I think we all hear that phrase, living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
But until you've actually lived it,
Yeah.
it's hard to understand what that really means.
Absolutely.
Can you kind of paint a picture of what that actually looks like day to day?
Okay, so imagine this.
Okay.
You get paid. There's like a moment of relief.
Yeah.
But then rent's due.
Yep.
You got to buy groceries.
Huh.
The utility bills are piling up. And suddenly most of that money is gone.
Right.
You don't have anything left to save,
Yeah.
let alone do something you enjoy or
Yeah.
work towards your goals or anything like that.
Yeah.
You're constantly making these impossible choices.
Right.
Sacrificing one thing so you can afford something else.
Ugh. It's like you're on a treadmill, just running as fast as you can,
Yeah,
just to stay in the same place.
that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the lack of money. It's
Yeah.
the constant mental and emotional drain.
Yeah.
I remember a time when I was working 2 jobs
Wow.
just to make ends meet.
2 jobs.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I was always exhausted. I never got enough sleep.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was going through the motions,
I bet. What did a typical day look like for you back then?
It was a blur, to be honest. I would finish one shift,
Yeah.
get a couple hours of sleep,
Yeah.
and then rush off to the next one. No sick days,
Yeah.
no time to take care of myself, just
Right.
this constant pressure
Yeah. Yeah.
to stay afloat,
It sounds exhausting, honestly.
It was.
And not to mention, like, what it does to your health.
Right, and that brings us to another one of those hidden costs,
Yeah.
the physical toll that it takes.
Right.
A lot of these jobs are really, really demanding physically.
Yeah.
You're working long hours, and often the conditions aren't safe.
Yeah. We see pictures of people working in factories or doing these tough jobs.
Yeah.
But it's easy to forget what that does to your body over time.
It takes a toll.
Yeah.
And then you add to that the fact that a lot of these jobs don't offer benefits,
Yeah.
like health insurance
Right.
or paid sick leave.
Yeah.
So if you get hurt or get sick, you have to choose between your health and your job.
It's a terrible choice.
It is.
It really feels like the system is working against them.
I remember working in a warehouse once.
Okay.
We were constantly lifting these heavy boxes,
Oh, gosh.
long hours, no real breaks. It
Yeah.
was just constant physical strain.
Yeah.
And I felt trapped, like
Yeah.
this was it. This was all my life was ever going to be.
Right.
Just tired and sore and
Yeah.
barely scraping by.
I can only imagine how demoralizing that must have felt.
It was.
So what kept you going during that time?
It's a good question.
Was there like a turning point?
I think there was. One day I was helping a coworker lift this really heavy box,
Okay.
and I felt this sharp pain in my back.
Oh, no.
And it was like a wake-up call,
Yep.
I realized I couldn't keep doing this.
Right.
I had to find another way.
It sounds like a really important moment.
It was.
Yeah.
I knew I had to start taking care of my health
Mm-hmm.
and find something that wouldn't leave me physically broken.
I'm glad you were able to turn things around.
Thanks.
But I know not everyone has that chance. Let's talk about another one of these hidden costs.
Okay.
The mental and psychological strain of living with a low income.
That's another huge one.
Yeah.
That constant financial insecurity
Yeah.
really takes a toll on your mental well-being.
I bet.
Chronic anxiety, depression,
Mm-hmm.
a feeling of hopelessness.
And it's not just the financial worry, is it?
No.
There's that social stigma, too.
Yeah.
People feel embarrassed or shamed,
Right.
which just adds to the burden.
It does. There's
Yeah.
this feeling of being stuck.
Yeah.
Like you're not seen.
Right.
Or your work isn't valued.
Mm-hmm.
And when everyone around you is struggling too,
Yeah.
it can feel so isolating.
Right, like a collective sense of hopelessness.
Exactly.
So we've got the financial instability,
Yeah.
the physical toll,
Yeah.
the mental and emotional strain.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other hidden costs that we should be aware of?
Yeah. There's one that I think is often overlooked,
Okay.
and that's the impact that all of this has on relationships.
No. Yeah.
The stress of not having enough money
Right.
doesn't just stay with the individual.
Yeah.
It spills over into families and relationships.
Oh, yeah. I can see how worrying about money all the time would cause tension.
It does.
Wow.
Couples argue about bills.
Right.
Parents feel guilty that they can't do more for their kids. The emotional exhaustion
Yeah.
of juggling work and family can
Yeah.
be overwhelming.
Yeah. Do you have any examples from your own experience?
I remember one time I was so exhausted from working
Okay.
that I literally fell asleep talking to a friend.
Oh, no.
They thought I was ghosting them,
Oh, gosh.
but I was just so tired.
That's kind of funny.
It was pretty embarrassing at the time,
I bet it.
but it just shows how draining it can be.
Yeah.
When you're constantly stressed about money,
Right.
you get impatient,
Yeah.
and it affects everyone around you.
Yeah. It's like this ripple effect going outward,
Yeah.
touching everything in its path.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that this isn't just about economics. It's about well-being
Absolutely.
for individuals,
Right.
families,
Mm.
whole communities.
Yeah.
So knowing all of that,
Yeah.
what can we actually do about it?
Yeah.
It can feel really overwhelming. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
to think about tackling such a big problem.
It is a big issue,
Yeah.
but I don't think that means we should just give up.
Right.
There are things we can do,
Yeah.
both as individuals
Mm.
and as a society,
Okay.
to actually make a difference.
I love that attitude.
Good.
Give us some hope here.
Okay.
What are some tangible things that we can do
Mm-hmm.
that can actually make a difference?
Well, one of the most important, I think, is advocating for policy changes
Okay.
that support fair wages and benefits for everyone.
I think when a lot of people hear policy change,
Yeah.
they kind of tune out. It
Mm.
feels so big
Yeah.
and so far away from their daily lives.
I understand that.
How can we make that feel more tangible?
Yeah, you're right. Policy change can feel very abstract. But the reality is it starts with us,
Yeah.
everyday citizens.
Yeah.
Speaking up,
Yeah.
demanding better,
Right.
supporting laws that raise the minimum wage,
Yeah.
that guarantee paid sick leave,
Right.
provide access to affordable health care.
Yeah.
These are concrete things that can make a real difference in people's lives.
So it's about making our voices heard,
Exactly.
letting our elected officials know that we care about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Contact your representatives,
Oh.
sign petitions,
No.
join advocacy groups. There are so many ways to get involved.
Yeah.
And it's not just about helping some vague group of people out there.
Right.
It's about building a better society for everyone.
Right. A more just and equitable society
Exactly.
where everyone's work is valued.
Yes.
Yeah. And rewarded fairly.
Absolutely.
And beyond policy changes,
Yeah.
there are other tools that we can use, right?
Yes, there are.
Like access to education and training.
Yes. That's a big
I'm
one.
really passionate about that.
Me.
Education can be such a game changer.
It can.
It opens doors
Yeah.
to new opportunities,
Yeah.
to better jobs.
And there are so many resources available now.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like traditional education isn't for you,
Yeah.
community colleges are more affordable.
Right
There's
on.
online learning,
Right.
vocational programs.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned vocational programs
Yeah.
because I think there's sometimes a stigma
I know.
against trade schools or apprenticeships,
There is.
but they can be so valuable,
They can.
leading to really good careers.
Absolutely. And a lot of trades are actually facing a shortage of skilled workers.
Really?
Yeah. Which means there are lots of opportunities out there.
That's great.
Yeah.
So it's about giving people the chance to explore
Mm-hmm.
different options
Right.
and find what fits their interests
Absolutely.
and their talents.
Yeah.
And another piece of this puzzle, I think, is financial literacy.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's so important.
I think it's often overlooked.
Yeah, people don't talk about it enough. It's about more than just balancing a checkbook.
Right.
It's about understanding how money works,
Yeah.
how to manage debt,
Mhm.
how to save, how to invest, how to plan for the future.
It's about giving people the knowledge
Yeah.
to take control
Right.
of their
Yeah.
finances
Exactly.
instead of feeling like they're trapped
Yes.
by their circumstances.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and there are so many resources out there
There are.
to help people build those skills. Workshops,
Mm-hmm.
online courses,
Yep.
even free apps
Right.
that can help you track your spending
Mm-hmm.
and give you advice.
Exactly.
I love that there are so many different options
Yeah.
that are accessible to people.
Right.
It's about meeting people where they are
Yeah.
and giving them the support they need
Absolutely.
to succeed.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started learning about personal finance,
Oh, yeah.
it was like a whole new world opened up.
It is, isn't it?
I finally felt like I had some control
Yes.
over my own money
That's fantastic.
and my future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how empowering it can be.
It is.
Just to understand the basics, it can make such a difference.
Yeah.
Between feeling trapped and feeling like you have options.
It's like that saying,
Yeah.
give a man a fish and you feed him for a day.
Yeah.
Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
Exactly.
Financial literacy is like teaching someone to fish.
I love that analogy.
It gives them the skills, not just to survive,
Right.
but to thrive.
That's exactly it.
So we've talked about policy changes,
Mm-hmm.
access to education and training,
Yeah.
financial literacy.
Right.
Are there any other solutions that you think are really important?
Yeah. I think another one
Hmm.
is the power of community
Oh, yeah.
and support networks.
Yeah,
Low-income work can be really isolating,
it can.
but when people come together,
Yeah.
share resources,
Okay, all right.
offer encouragement, it can make a huge difference.
I'm a big believer in the power of community.
Me too.
There's something about connecting with people
Yeah.
who understand your struggles, who can listen
Mm-hmm.
and help
Absolutely.
local organizations,
Mhm.
support groups,
Yep.
online forums.
Right.
All these things can provide that sense of belonging and a way to share information.
Absolutely.
You don't have to go through this alone.
I don't. There
Yeah.
are people out there who want to help.
Yeah.
Who want to see you succeed.
Sometimes just knowing that you're not alone
It's true.
is enough to keep you going.
It can be. We're
Yeah.
social creatures.
Right.
We need connection.
Right.
When we find that,
Yeah.
we find strength
Yeah.
and resilience.
So it's about finding your people,
Yes.
your tribe, the
Exactly.
ones who will lift you up
Mm-hmm.
and cheer you on
Yeah.
while you're facing all these challenges.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's about remembering that we all have something to offer.
Right.
Even if you're struggling yourself,
Yeah.
you can still be there for others.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's about building that web of support.
I love that image.
Yeah.
That safety net. That can catch people when they're falling
Yeah,
and help them get back on their feet.
that's beautiful.
So if someone's listening right now and they're
Yeah.
feeling stuck
Yeah.
in that cycle of low-income work,
Mm-hmm.
what's the one thing you want them to take away from this?
I want them to know that they're not alone.
Okay.
And that they deserve a life filled with dignity and opportunity.
Yeah.
There is hope.
Mhm.
There are things you can do
Yeah.
to improve your situation, to break free from that cycle, to build a better future for yourself and your family.
Such a powerful message.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
You have the power to
Mm.
change your story.
Yeah.
And we, as a society,
Yeah.
have to create systems that support everyone,
I agree.
regardless of their income.
So we've covered a lot today,
We have.
from how widespread this issue is
Yeah.
to all those hidden costs. They
Yeah.
go way beyond just the money.
Absolutely.
But I think the most important takeaway
Yeah.
is that this isn't an individual problem.
Right.
It's a societal issue
It is.
that we need to address
We do.
together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is a societal issue.
Yeah.
We need to kind of shift how we think about it.
Yeah.
It's that low-income work isn't a personal failing.
Right.
It's this big systemic challenge
It is.
that we need to solve together.
I agree completely. We need to stop playing the blame game,
Yeah.
and create a world where hard work is actually valued, where everyone has a real chance not just to survive, but to actually thrive.
It's about going beyond just getting by
Yeah.
and seeing that a life filled with abundance and opportunity is possible for everyone.
That's a great way to put it. It's about shifting our mindset
Yeah.
from scarcity to abundance,
I liked it.
recognizing that when we help others,
Yeah.
we all benefit.
And that leads me to my last question for you today.
Okay.
If there's one thing you could leave our listeners with,
Yeah.
one thought to ponder as they go about their day,
Okay.
what would it be?
I would say think about how interconnected our lives really are.
Okay.
Recognize that the well-being of one person
Yeah.
is tied to the well-being of everyone else.
Right.
When we support those who are struggling, we create a stronger and more vibrant society for everyone.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's a good reminder that we're all in this together
We are.
and that even small acts of kindness
Yeah,
can make a big difference.
they can.
Yeah.
It's about creating positive change
Right.
that
Yeah.
reaches far beyond ourselves.
Exactly. And never underestimate your own power
Right.
to make a difference.
Don't.
Speak up for what you believe in.
Yes.
Support organizations that are making the world a better place.
Mm-hmm.
Be there for others.
Be kind.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today.
Of course, it's been a pleasure.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation.
Good. I'm glad.
And I hope it inspires our listeners
Yeah.
to really think about this issue
Yeah.
and to take action in their own communities.
Absolutely. Remember, change starts with each of us.
That's right.
Let's work together to create a world where everyone has the chance to live a life full of dignity and purpose.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It really is, we have to start thinking differently about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Seeing low-income work not as like a sign of personal failure or something,
Right.
but as a problem with the system
It is a systemic problem for sure.
that we all need to work on fixing.
Exactly. We got to move past that blame game
Yeah.
and create a world where everyone's hard work is valued,
Right.
where everyone has a real shot at not just surviving, but thriving.
It's about going beyond just getting by,
Absolutely.
and seeing that a good life is possible for everyone.
A life full of abundance and opportunity.
Exactly. And that actually brings me to my final question for today.
Okay, shoot.
If you could leave our listeners with just one thing, one thought to kind of chew on
Yeah.
as they go about their day,
Yeah.
what would it be?
I would say really think about how connected we all are.
Right.
Recognizing that what happens to one of us
Yeah.
affects all of us.
Yeah.
When we lift up those who are struggling, we're creating a better society for everyone.
I love that.
Thank you.
It reminds me that we're all in this together,
We are.
and that even little acts of kindness
Yeah,
can ripple out and create real change.
absolutely they can.
Change that goes way beyond just ourselves.
Exactly. And don't forget how much power you have
Mhm.
to make a difference.
Yeah.
Speak up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
Support those organizations out there
Right.
that are working to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Be kind to each other.
Yeah. Be kind. Be kind. That's so important.
It is.
Well, thank you again so much for being here today.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
This has been a really enlightening conversation.
I'm glad to hear that.
And I hope our listeners are
Yeah.
inspired to take action
Me too.
in their own communities.
Yeah, remember, change starts with us.
It does.
So let's get to work, building a world where everyone has a chance to live a good life, a life with dignity and purpose.
That's what it's all about. And that brings us to the end of today's deep dive. We hope you found this conversation insightful and that you're feeling empowered to make a difference.
Yeah.
Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged,
Mm.
and keep striving for a better world for all of us.